Hello, my name is Chuck Rosenstein. I am a partner here with Rosenstein Orapello. I'm here with my partner today, Rob Orapello, and we have the opportunity to speak to you to talk a little bit about the practice that I've built up over time and how I have worked things with Rob to transition the practice over to him. I have been an attorney practicing law in Albany, New York for 28 years. My practice has evolved into specializing in representing buyers of both residential and commercial real estate. We also have a title company, Marathon Title Agency, that's associated with our firm. And after 28 years, I have decided that I may want to start stepping back. Tried to figure out what's the right way to do that. Started talking to other people who were part of the bar, and they didn't have all the answers. I certainly didn't have all the answers, so I had to start talking to those who I thought could give me some good information. And so my practice was evolving. Found Rob, who became an associate with my office, and I've offered Rob what I think is a great opportunity, but certainly I'll let him speak to that.
Yes, my name's Rob Orapello. As Chuck mentioned, I came on as an attorney with Chuck in 2014, and we later became partners in 2017. Common story for every law graduate, that went to law school. You come out of law school, you're drowning in debt, and you're looking for a good opportunity, not only for your future, but to be able to make those student loan payments. And luckily, I was blessed to have the opportunity to meet Chuck. We saw a scenario where we could, formulate a win-win scenario for both of us that would allow Chuck to basically step away from the practice over time, and it will allow me to kind of step in. And that's the concept we've really been committed to over time, is win-win.
When I got to this point that I'm at in my career, how do I start stepping aside? How do I figure out if I do have something that's sellable and that somebody wants to buy into? So the first thing I did is speak to my accountant. Because my accountant has been with me for years. He knows the practice. He knows how we make money here. He helped me value the firm so that I had something to go to Rob with and say, hey, if you're interested, here's what I can offer you. And the accountant also helped me figure out not only the value, but how do we structure this? As Rob said, we always try to make things win-win, not just between us, but with our clients and our staff, etc. So what we decided was a 10-year buy-in period. So we came up with a value. Rob did his research and agreed upon that value. And then I gave him the right to buy into the practice over a period of 10 years. And the way he's been doing that, which again, I think works for him, is he's not reaching into his pocket and taking money out and paying me each month or every year. What he's been able to do is, because he's been successful at growing his own practice as part of our practice, he's been able to leave profits in the firm that I'm then able to take out as compensation to me that I use to apply towards what he owes me for the value of the firm that I've sold to him. So again, I'll let him speak to that, but that has worked out well for me, and I think it was a fair opportunity for him.
Definitely, it starts with just me meeting Chuck. It wasn't just going to be anybody. There's first have to be a foundation. The foundation is obviously for me trust, and just having sat with Chuck multiple times, meeting with Chuck, I think quickly we formed a trust with each other, which is what you want to build off of. Thereafter, I think it's important to have the right team in place. Chuck made it very clear to me from day one that he was an open book. All the books at the firm would be open for me or anybody else that wanted to take a look. I don't know if it would be everyone's approach, but coincidentally I also met with the accountant that was assisting Chuck, and we also hit it off. I loved him, so I don't know if everyone would take that approach, but again, working off that foundation of having trust with each other and with our accountant, it allows us to sit down. Any issues come up, we hash them out, we work through them. So I think that's a very important starting point, the trust with each other and also the trust with the people we're bringing in. From that point, just looking at the numbers again, I've been working hard on building my business, which obviously is important, as Chuck said, because just coming out of law school and having your everyday expenses on top of all the student loans, not many people have thousands upon thousands, of dollars to dish out as much as they might want to buy into a company like this. So I think it was important to establish that process that allowed me to work hard, put money in my pocket, and also be able to put money into the firm. So I think that's why we've been able to have success.
One of the other things that is very important is when Rob and I spoke, I sold him half my practice, meaning, again, I retained 50% ownership of it. And the way we structured it is, Rob is buying in at 10% ownership per year. So as our second year, it's now I am an 80% owner, Rob's a 20% owner. When he's done buying in, Rob will be a 50% owner, I'll be a 50% owner. But one thing I certainly said to Rob is I have every intention of selling my other 50% interest in this firm to somebody, whether that's you or whether it's another attorney. And he understood, and I committed to Rob that I want you to be comfortable with this individual who I will sell the other 50% to, because obviously that's your future and you're going to have to work with that person. So I definitely know, and again, Rob can speak to this, but I committed to Rob that while I definitely had the intention of selling the remaining part of my firm, I committed to him to make sure that it was somebody that he was comfortable with and could work with in the future and take the firm and grow.
Yes, exactly, and that circles back to what I was referring to with the trust. Knowing that Chuck isn't just going to sell the other half to somebody I might not like or approve of. These are conversations we always have, and again, just the ability to and the peace of mind, I guess, of knowing that when these issues arise, we can sit down together and work them out, express our concerns, and express what the best decision is in moving forward. Just having that peace of mind is really helpful for me. Just going about my day, knowing that those things won't just happen. That we will. We've committed to having conversations. We've committed to working together to do what's best interest in the best interest of the firm.
Obviously, when Rob came and started work with me, he was an associate. And I certainly hope that he would work out and be the guy that he has in fact turned out to be, and somebody who I was very happy making my partner. But if that didn't work out, then I had to figure out another strategy. And one of the things that I have done in this area is every time I run into an attorney who similar, been practicing over 20 years like myself, is reaching maybe the end of their career, I ask them, what's your strategy? Have you thought about it? And I will be honest with you, a lot of these attorneys, they have no associate. Maybe they've got one or two paralegals that works for them, but obviously without anybody coming in, whether that's an associate or a partner or something, I don't know what they're going to do with their firm. That's why I consider myself very lucky, and I was able to build something that has value, that I was able to monetize and ultimately sell off half the firm and ultimately sell off the other half. But if you don't deal with the issue and you just keep putting it off, you're never going to come up with a solution, and basically you're going to shut your practice down and hopefully have had a good career but have really nothing to show for it.
Yeah, exactly. And just on the other end of that, that's Chuck's win, as we talked about, is he's been able to monetize it, and he's not just closing up shop and moving to Florida or something. I'm continuing to make strides every day and taking on more responsibility at the firm and kind of continuing to grow the firm, and Chuck's continuing to help in that fashion. So just the flip side of what he was talking about for me coming out of law school, to be able to immediately kind of enter into a firm that was set up, for what I wanted to do. The kind of ship was already steered and the wheels were already in motion, and I think obviously that's a huge part of what I brought into it, as opposed to starting with brick number one. I was kind of just able to hop on with Chuck and kind of steer the ship with him and continue to learn, and I think it's worked out great. As I stated, it's been a win-win for both of us. So.